Good evening once again. The road to reopening schools here in New York has taken a confusing turn today after an announcement from the governor that caught many school superintendents by surprise.
I'll tell you what they're going to ask every school district. How are you going to test? How many tests are you going to take? Are you sure you have them lined up? Are you sure those are enough tests?
The governor says that schools should be prepared to test students for COVID-19. His comments come as schools had just submitted their reopening plans, and many were not prepared to take on this job. 7 Eyewitness News reporter Ed Riley is speaking tonight with local education leaders about this testing confusion and what's being done now to make sure students safely return to school.
So it came as a curveball, it came as a surprise, and it came as a real difficult challenge to navigate.
Mark Laurie is superintendent of Niagara Falls City Schools. He said his district, like many others, was caught off guard by the governor's comments that school districts must be prepared to test for COVID-19.
I've received letters that say you are not testing my child under any circumstances. That's not your skill or your strength, which is correct. It isn't.
Laurie said the logistics of including testing into a reopening plan is enormous.
There are privacy issues along with that. There are turnaround time issues with that.
The superintendent explained that testing was not part of the original parameters set by New York State for reopening, as shown in this picture.
Because we're getting to an 11th hour here for families, parents, and a community.
Lieutenant Governor Kathy Hochul insists the testing requirements should not have come as a surprise.
Is showing the symptoms that's symptomatic or has been exposed to people, that it's not unreasonable for us to expect that they have a plan to deal with that.
But some, like Superintendent Laurie, now have real doubts whether schools will be able to reopen in just a couple weeks.
But this wasn't a job that, A, they knew they were supposed to do, and B, they don't even know how they would do that.
The New York State School Boards Association represents 700 schools. It is getting an earful from confused administrators. But the association said it is hearing that State Health Commissioner Howard Zucker is clarifying the confusion by saying school districts do not have to do the testing themselves, but have an outside agency like a county health department ready to do the testing.
But we want to know what the rules are so that we can go forth and fulfill those obligations to the best of our ability.
On top of the testing controversy comes concerns from unions about reopening.
And you can also make up for an education, but you can't bring somebody back to life.
And both the New York State United Teachers and United Federation of Teachers are demanding that the state issue clear protocols for how and when districts must close their buildings in the event of a positive COVID-19 case. It is now up to Governor Cuomo, who promised that he would make a decision this week about whether the schools could reopen. In Hamburg, Ed Riley, 7 Eyewitness News.